What's up, everybody? It's Monday, October 21st. Welcome in. If you're part of the GoldBoys community, you got the alert. Thanks for hanging with us. If you're following along at OddsShopper on Twitter, well, you already know the two of us. Brad Thomas will be here momentarily. That's Eric Lindquist. I'm at shanderbets. And this will be interesting. It's like the 4x4 relay here. By the time Brad gets on, I may have to bolt. So Eric is kind of like in the middle, just like taking and facilitating the baton switch, if you will.
Sounds like my life all the time, so I'm okay with it. Hey, it's great though because I'll take a little bit of your sharp analysis. I'll take a little bit of Brad sharp analysis. I'll be the meat of the sandwich. That sounds adorable.
Okay. Okay. What's the meat du jour?
No, I'm kind of like a turkey stand when it comes to like if I'm gonna have a sandwich. I'm not a big bread guy. I don't like bread very much. So like
What do you eat
burgers,
your
I
turkey
prefer
with?
with lettuce wraps. I don't like bread very much. Never
So I'll
have.
give you something underrated, right? Like if you
Yeah.
take a burger or a piece of turkey or whatever the protein may be, and you get it on a bun, right, with cheese. Let's just say you get it with American cheese or cheddar, whatever your
Mhm.
cheese favorite is. And you just remove the bun, right? Like that's all you do is remove the bun. And then you eat it like a burger or whatever the sandwich is, like prepared as a sandwich, but remove the bun. It's like making the muffin and then removing the muffin top following it bursting through as opposed to just creating muffin tops. I'm just
That sounds
giving
pretty
you a
good.
yeah, it's
I can get down with that. I can get down
some
with
good
that.
stuff. All right,
Welcome
well,
to the
Brad,
show, Brad. We
yeah,
are
Brad's
live.
here. He's gonna pop in here. Straight's producing, of course, so he's gonna get us going with what we did last week. Maybe that's what he can do. He can put up what we did on Thursday as he gets Brad up here physically into the show, right? Or is that we don't want to jam the machine here, straight having to push two buttons at once, and then all of a sudden
Doing
everything
great.
blows up.
He's doing great. We're gonna get him some jet skis here. We're gonna get him some jet skis, but not with Alvin Kamara. We're not. Everything else came through. I went 2-1.
You went 2-1. Brad went to. Well, I don't know about that Beck play. I don't think that Beck. Yeah, it lost. Okay, so Brad went 1-2. I went 1-2, and you went 2-1. So after you just being dead last and a blight on this program for the past couple of weeks, Eric, you finally carried your weight. Thank you.
I had 1-0-3, and I was happy to embrace it and get better. I had to get better. So otherwise, you're gonna kick me off this show. So 2-1. It was an all right day there. But it was a pretty darn good weekend overall. I know the home runs were flying left and right for us over the weekend. That was awfully fun. Getting a first home run, like first at bat home run for both of them over the course of the weekend really helped things out. Then Sunday, it was basically buoyed by two gentlemen, Devon Eytan, who they didn't give the ball to enough in that second half, but yet he got just a bajillion yards over 47 and a half rushing. And of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown just smashed my Vikings. That was a stone cold lock.
Well, there you go. All right, so we'll move on here. Brad Thomas is in the house, and the thought was that we would just come back to you, and you and I wouldn't have to explain away, or we don't need to. We've had strong weeks, we've had strong
Yeah,
days.
I've been the donkey on this show by
There is something
far.
I do want to say. Carson Beck threw the football 41 times in that game. 41 times. And didn't even sniff 265.
Mhm.
What
Disgraceful.
a disappointment in a player prop. That's what you want. You get 41 passes from a guy who likes to throw the ball deep. But we move to the next bet.
And they hung 30 and 1, which is just so dumb. It's just so dumb. Against
So
the best defense in the country, we can dispel that rumor.
I think you can. You don't need the air quotes on that one anymore. All right, let's run into this thing here. I'm going to have to jet a little early, as I mentioned. So this is great, right? Like we're passing the baton here in show, but we'll run through what we can. And then if, you want to wants to put on the play before I get out of here, but let's run through it, what we have. Everybody's here. Everybody has some stuff for Monday night. I know because I saw ahead of time there will be a soccer play out there. I feel people were upset that there was like 2 straight shows where Brad didn't give a soccer play out. So why don't you start things off, brother?
Yeah, I'm going to go against my own Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Oh, Actually, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry first. I'm taking Derrick Henry over 84.5 rush yards. Big number. He's hit this in every game except 2. The one that he didn't hit was against the Chiefs, the best run defense by margin in the entire NFL. The other one he didn't hit, his total was set at like 65.5. He got 84 yards, so he crushed that number as well. Buccaneers are 5th worst rated run defense in the NFL, and it's not, they don't have issues with plugging the run gaps. What they have issues are those lapses in run defense where they allow those big runs. What better running back in the NFL who likes getting those big chunks late in games when you're tired, when your mind is not firing on all cylinders? That's Derrick Henry. So I took his over. It's a big number, but if you want to scale it down, you could take like 65 and a touchdown. I think is good as well.
No issue there with me.
Want to talk a former Ravens running back too? I love Derrick Henry for all things rushing today too. Have a touchdown that really want to get packaged to Baltimore money line. I think that's one way to cut down on minus 190
that's
here.
former running back.
But yeah, we're going to J.K. Dobbins. My God,
Yeah.
I've bet this so hard on underdog on pick 6 here. It's gotten jammed up from 76.5, 77.5, 79.5. Now sitting at 81.5 over on pick 6, and I really don't care. You and I got ourselves involved in a little ladder action, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. You can break it down in different ways. It's all about what else you're planning on betting today, or just basically how you want to be betting ladders in general. Some people look at it as, oh, I want to make a recreational bet. No. You shop the odds. DraftKings is right now actually better than FanDuel. So do your due diligence there. Jump over to DraftKings if you're going to be laddering this up with me. But 80 plus sitting at minus 110, 90 plus, just starting to build up this ladder. J.K. Dobbins is electric. He was electric with over 5 yards of carry in Baltimore. 5.4 now with the Chargers. And the thing is, he's always just had this bugaboo, which is just fluke injuries. And there's nothing you can do when grading and evaluating a talented running back, because stuff like this just happens. It happens in every sport. Greg Oden, where I bet Greg Oden, his life looks a little bit different if he doesn't have just terrible stuff. Now, obviously, there were some previous injuries coming into his NBA career. But beside the fact, J.K. Dobbins has had some crazy fluke injury luck. We're seeing a workload going his direction. 25 carries against Denver. I don't think that Harbaugh was starting that game thinking, you know what? I bet J.K. Dobbins is going to get up to 25 carries, but he's been looking strong. He's been looking really, really good. And yeah, the efficiency has dropped off the last 3, but look at the opposition at Pittsburgh, at Denver, and Kansas City, the aforementioned at home that BLT just brought up there, where Lord BLT was a very correct, where Kansas City's rushing defense. Now he gets Arizona 30th in terms of rushing, 153 rushing yards per game. I just see square peg, square hole. You just play J.K. Dobbins in a spot like this.
I got him anytime tonight, combined with Chris Godwin in the other game, just around 4-1, just maybe just under that. But yeah, I mean, Dobbins is a machine, and I think you can run him as many ways as you want, as you have in the ladder. The anytime TD works. I think if you're boosting it, or in some I haven't seen how heavily juiced it was, so I bet this a couple of days ago, but I imagine people have just destroyed this across the board. So Henry, 2 guys on the ground right now, Henry and Dobbins so far. I'm going to push this thing with just going under the Chargers-Cardinals game. I do think Arizona's in a good spot here, bounce back, right? We've seen this with the up and down, if you will. There's got to be a better, like, more up-to-date reference than Jekyll and Hyde. I heard somebody on TV saying that, like, this is such a Jekyll and Hyde team. And I'm just like, what age group does that stop at? Like, if you're 30 years old, do you get the Jekyll and Hyde reference? I'm asking. 25? Do you get the
It's
Jekyll
been like
and Hyde
100 plus years for Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
That's what I'm
I think
saying.
that reference is going to go on for a long time, because 90% of the references we make were like from the 1800s.
Yeah, we just keep
Okay,
regurgitating.
Yeah, I think that's just what we do.
Literature that did it better than we could. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also get caught, right? Like, I don't know how often you talk to, like 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds or 21-year-olds.
never.
But there will be unless you're keeping up, there will be words thrown in there that you're just like, okay, hold on, I got to go back and check on that one. right? Like you'll catch 95% unless you're keeping up. If you're keeping up, then no issue whatsoever. But I don't know. It's just hard for me to think that everybody's up on the Jekyll and Hyde reference. I'm going under 44.5 regardless. I do like Arizona to play in this game a little stronger, especially with Murray, kind of a bounce back spot. Chargers, I don't know if they're going to have as good or easy of a time as you saw with Denver with a guy banged up in Surtain. And also just looking at the competition that the Chargers have faced versus what the Arizona Cardinals have faced. I think this is just going to be more of a slugfest than offense. So I'm going to go under 44.5 here.
I'll go with my next play. Back to this game as well. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Quick shameless plug. If you're on NBCSports.com, this was one of my article plays here.
Hook? You're laying 3.5?
I'm laying 3.5 here. I just think that the Ravens are by margin better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ravens 4-0 against the spread in their last. I'm not a trend guy, right? But these are some pretty telling as well. Ravens 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 as road favorites. My biggest issue with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is their biggest weakness is against the run, right? But we're going to pair that as well. So the biggest issue is against the run. They're giving up 113 rush yards per game, PFF grade of 48 out of a possible 100, which is 5th worst in the league. So what does that mean, right? You're going to want to kind of stack the box there if you're Tampa Bay against Derrick Henry. Ravens are going to run the ball a ton. Well, it doesn't help that you have Jamel Dean, you have Inzian, and you have Antoine Winfield Jr., who probably there's a good chance that 2 out of 3, if not all 3, won't play, which means your secondary becomes weak, which means it allows Mr. Lamar Jackson to have kind of his entire repertoire. He can run the ball. Derrick Henry can run the ball, or even better, he can throw the ball to a guy like Zay Flowers, who might be wide open against lesser talented secondary. So I think they cover. I think the last time the Ravens played the Buccaneers in Tampa, the game was such a blowout. I was sitting on the upper bowl. I literally got to sit in front row by halftime because everyone was gone. They were up by like 30 points at halftime.
Hope it happens again. I'm very much here for that. I'm going to probably package. Yeah, I was saying Baltimore. Maybe I'll take a look at the 3.5 here. I mean, Derrick Henry. Good luck, everybody. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. This is not your everyday rushing duo that you're going to see day in, day out. My second play, it is Derrick Henry over 4.5 receiving yards is what this is. Now, this is another kind of like pick 6 spot and pick 'em type play that I'm throwing out there for the people. I think Derrick Henry is a wagon. Everybody thinks he's a wagon, but despite the fact that he hasn't gone over this number, it's half the time he's gone over, half the time he's gone under on 4.5. Looking at Tampa Bay, they give up the second most receptions per game to the running back position at 6.5 this season. You couple that with the fact that, Justice Hill, I mean, sometimes Tampa Bay's been in some extreme game scripts where it's like dump offs to Kamara when they're up by 25-30 in New Orleans. Like, it's going to be a loud sample size when you're talking about 6 games. But I think the fact remains when Todd Bowles is going to be blitzing at the rate that he is, 4th highest in football, nearly 30% of the time, you're going to run into situations where Derrick Henry is going to, instead of block, zip out to the side, and there's going to be just one play throughout the course of this game where instead of the block, instead of picking up that blitz, he's going to give Lamar Jackson the exit route, and he's going to bring it 10, 15 yards upfield and just smash this number. I'm not going to look at laddering this one the same way that I'm looking at laddering J.K. Dobbins, because you're just looking for one dump off here. But Derrick Henry, in positive game scripts, if we think that they're going to dominate, which once again, BLT does, I think Eytan does to some extent here as well. Baltimore is definitely going to be bringing the fun on the offensive side of the ball, and Derrick Henry finding one touch there to go 5 yards seems like a really darn good play with the blitz heavy coverage of Todd.
Yeah, man, I think that kind of correlates with where I'm going here too. And I think also with the side that Brad laid out, which is the under in this game. Now, it was at 50.5. I didn't think it was going to hit 51. It looks like it's now down to 50, kind of depending where you are. 49.5 was where I was looking at it. I can't remember because I was up all night with the kids, if it was yesterday or if it was early tonight, what have you. But 50.5 was the number. I do not think it's gone to 51. I think it's reversed, if anything. And I think a lot of this is just how does the clock keep moving, right? Like, yes, you're going to see some chunk plays, but you're also going to see, as you mentioned, Todd Bowles blitz. And that forces things. Like, that doesn't just allow an offense, quick passes, what have you. It forces Lamar to kind of move a little bit more and quicker throws. If it's Derrick Henry or if it's just adjusting Mark Andrews or anybody else, Zay Flowers, like the ball comes out quicker and there's less chance of it hitting the ground. Right. And I think that's where I'm looking at just clock moving. Both of these teams, even Tampa Bay, and I understand that you've seen Baker Mayfield lead the NFL in passing touchdowns, what have you, but we're talking about Monday night where this team in Baltimore comes in. If you like the side and if you like Derrick Henry to do a lot, I think that also helps the underplay here where you're just not going to see many fireworks from Tampa, and they're going to still keep that ball moving on the ground, or at least the clock moving, I should say. So I'm going to go under 50.5 here. Any issue?
None. Tampa Bay, I mean, what do we think they're going to do offensively in this game?
Probably try and throw a lot, I would imagine, Brad, but also like, you've got the two backs you can work. I know Mike Evans had the injury designation. He's playing, like my guess is they've been throwing and scoring in the air all year. Why would that change? Or at least trying to.
Yeah, at least they're going to try. I think
try.
I mean, the prices tell you a lot, right? Like Chris Godwin's a 76.5 guy now.
He was at 68 or 69, I think.
Yeah.
Like before the Evans stuff was like
Yep.
really big talk. I don't know, man. I'm with God. Look, like I said, Godwin, like him to score. J.K. Dobbins score. Put them together, probably like plus 385 or so on DK. I'm going to bolt. You guys are going to take over. We're going to tell you all about what's going on here at MGM, how you can get not only on BetMGM, but a free month at GoldBoys.com, because I don't know if Eric will, but thanks to Straight, because, Eric's a selfish cretin. And he'll just go on and do his own thing. No, he's not. He thanks everybody. Brad, at Mr. Brad Thomas, at Eric Lindquist, at shanderbets. Final round of picks coming up, but first here from MGM. The Gold Boys are one of the largest, most well-known sports betting discords around the world. We'll show you how easy it is to get a free month at goldboys.com and sign up at BetMGM just for using code GoldBoys. Sign up at BetMGM, use code GoldBoys, deposit at least $10 and get your first bet back up to $1,500. Once you play through, you'll get an email from BetMGM with your code to use for that free month at goldboys.com. Some exclusions may apply. 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, sign up at BetMGM using code GoldBoys, deposit at least $10. Your first bet's back up to $1,500. You'll get an email from MGM. Use that code for your first free month at goldboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, the quality of this show. It just got far, far more beautiful. Just myself at Mr. Brad Thomas, hanging out, talking some of our bets here. And I'm excited for tomorrow because NBA is officially here. And my Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be in LA, so I get to go to the game. That'll be lovely, lovely too. Thursday, I get to go to the Rams and Vikings game. So it's Minnesota Sports Week here in the great city of Los Angeles. Great city at times. Great city for certain purposes. But anywho, we're going to just run by that fact. Let's finish this out here. And do we have Eytan's final bet? We can throw his up on the screen and maybe just make fun of it or something. Tampa Bay Lightning, NHL. I'm not in the NHL streets whatsoever. I know Brad is a little bit here. Once upon a time, Tampa Bay Dynasty, I believe it's been 2 of the past 3 seasons. Before Florida Panthers take it down. The state of Florida, your state, is dominating the pucks. What do we do with Tampa Bay Lightning here tonight? Are we going to be tailing that?
No, I don't know the price. I like the Bolts a lot tonight. Vasi 3-1 so far on the season. They look to have gotten much quicker, which is really nice. This happens to every dynasty where you become a dynasty, you win a ton, but what happens? Your team gets old. And in hockey, it's not like all the other sports. In hockey, when you go through the postseason, it wears you down. So now you have these guys not only getting old, but they're playing a lot of extended minutes in the postseason, a lot of ice time. That's kind of what's happening to the Oilers, right? Like they just had this big, long run. Now they're struggling to start the season. You saw it happen to Vegas. The season before that, they had this big, long run. Well, Tampa stunk last year, right? Like they didn't have a long run. They also made some really important trades. They got rid of Stammer, which I know the Stamkos, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. A lot of the
Yep.
Bolts fans were probably really bummed about that. They pick up Gunsel from Carolina, who is younger, faster. Now that first line with Kucherov, Gunsel, and Braden Point is scoring a ton. And Vasi, had a tough season, right? Coming off the injury. You talk about a goaltender who uses their athleticism and as much as they use their brain and they're coming off an injury, like how much skill do you expect them to kind of bring forward? So now it looks like he's kind of settling in, getting back to the level that he was playing. I think they're a pretty good team, and I think they're actually a dog in this game. So I wouldn't mind taking them.
Where did Kucherov go?
No, Kucherov is there. I'm saying that line of them three is
Oh,
really nice.
gotcha. They switched him out. Never mind.
Stamkos
Or
went
Stamkos.
to Nashville. Nashville looks pretty
Okay.
good too because Nashville ended up getting him and Marshy from Vegas. Like they invested in their squad.
Oh,
It's funny, like
Marchessault's in Nashville now. Holy shit.
yeah, it's one team's trash is another team's treasure, right? Because they fill different roles, different voids. I like that. Let me go to my
All I
pay.
saw was the Oh, go ahead.
Wait, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I
go,
was
go.
going to just throw in that it's plus 114 over at DraftKings, best available line.
I
So,
think it was plus 120 this morning, so some money coming on it. I mean, it makes sense. Like hockey's literally one of those value games, situational value. You don't bet favorites a lot in hockey if you want to be profitable. Let's go with my last bet. I'm going to go with this is a soccer bet for UEFA Champions League. I believe the game's tomorrow. It's Atletico Madrid versus Lille. I'm taking Atletico Madrid minus 1.5 in the first half corner handicap. It's almost plus 130. First and foremost, Lille don't win a lot of corners. They play methodical. They don't play wide. They don't play towards the boundaries. A couple things that just make you not get corners. Even if they dominate possession, they don't take a ton of shots. Atletico Madrid under Simeone, they play really on the front foot, attack, a go when they're playing at home. So I expect them to be aggressive, especially they got trounced 4-0 in their last Champions League match. Now that this is different, it's not always about just earning points and beating your group. It's an entire table standing. So they know they're going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to score a ton. And they're most importantly going to have to pick up 3 points. So I like them to start aggressive. You're getting an amazing price on them to win the corner handicap by at least 2 in the first half.
God, every time you start talking the soccer, I just blindly tail, and life is generally pretty good. I'm just trying to get myself onto this because finding the corners is a little bit more work. It's a little bit
Yeah,
more labor intensive over here.
DK and Hard Rock are the 2 best for first half. And then
Oh,
if you use offshore, my bookie's like the best for first half corners.
gotcha. All right. Well, that's good information to have there as well. All right. Let's round it all together, put a bow on it, shall we? Anthony Davis. We are talking opening night NBA here on Tuesday. They're taking on my Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going to be heading to the game. But again, I don't usually, I'm never going to be the person who bets on my team just because or anything else. Trying to assess what's going on for tomorrow, though, is a lot of fun when you start piecing together exactly what we're dealing with from Anthony Davis. And I just wanted to double check what I got this at because there are ways to ladder him up that I think are very, very interesting against Rudy Gobert and company. First off, we saw Rudy Gobert didn't really play for France, couldn't really be out on the floor because good teams put him in the pick and roll, did exactly what good teams should do, and they've done to him in the playoffs in the past. And that's just make him over contest over on the 3-point line, or they're just going to, just torch him. And it's been like nonstop, constant. But the one interesting thing with Anthony Davis, watching him play for Team USA, coming off the bench, Anthony Davis at times, I mean, it was just insane watching Team USA this summer. But he's added a little bit of a 3-point dimension beyond what he's had in the past. And I saw a number of games here in the preseason for the Lakers, obviously being out here and paying very close attention to that. Everybody wants to talk about Bronny James for whatever reason. He'll see the floor for like 4 minutes tomorrow. I'm sure that'll be an enjoyable clap fest. Everybody's going to be really, really sweet about that. But let's focus on Anthony Davis and the basketball going on here. I can't imagine a world where they aren't going to have LeBron in 2-man games with one Anthony Davis here and pick and pop Rudy Gobert trying to over contest or potentially just sagging back. And Anthony Davis is going to pull the trigger. I believe 9 3-point attempts here in his last preseason game, 7 the game previous to that. And these are in like 27, 28 minutes. I think that's a little bit by design. I think this has to do with a 3-point shooter who understands math and basketball concepts in JJ Redick taking over there. I think that that's going to be a huge part of the fabric of this team, is trying to get as much 3-point shooting added to it throughout the course of this year as possible. And sometimes the underrated thing to do is to develop your players to be better at that skill. And not enough teams do that. Enough teams just say, we have to go get a 3-point shooter. We have to go get this guy. Well, Anthony Davis is going to be on the floor a lot more than 27, 28 minutes in this spot. I'm not going to say it's a 1-for-1 swap here, but I love the idea of putting 30 plus points and 3 plus threes together. If you want to be more conservative and, minus 135, I think is the best available number, minus 145 now for 1 3-pointer. Package it with 25.5 points. That is plus 214 at DraftKings best available. So lots of ways to do this to get a lot better than 2-1, north of 3-1 here when you put 30 plus with 3 plus threes. In fact, you're going to get north of 4-1 because of those threes.
I like that. I'm excited to see this Lakers team with Mr. JJ Redick, the mastermind, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be a sweet transition, but I think he'll figure it out. I like that play there.
Like 5 next here. Like wheel this over. Yeah, found it. Let's go, team.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's JJ Redick season. This is.
I have, is that from the championship year?
Yep. Yeah.
I have a
JJ Redick didn't win a championship with this one, but he signed it anyway. So that was cool.
I have the autograph Sports Illustrated in my closet from the Sports Illustrated.
Are you a Duke fan?
Well, I like Duke. You
Okay.
know, when you grow up being an Alabama guy, we didn't have basketball, so
it was football or football. You could play one of the two. You could play one of the two if you wanted to. That's fantastic. But Mr. Brad Thomas, glad that you're a Dookie as well. I grew up a diehard Duke fan. My dog is named Duke. I went to Iowa State because they gave me money to play golf there. So there's that. But anywho, that is our card here. I think it looks pretty darn good here. We're very Ravens heavy. That's going to be lovely to watch play out. We're former Ravens heavy with J.K. Dobbins here as well. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Check out our tails as well. My guy BL2 is doing fantastic stuff. I always try to drop in and get some of his soccer knowledge whenever I can. I'm fortunate in that way. And then obviously all the other sports. He is so fantastic at handicapping, talking through all of it. You can get that at Tails at OddsShopper. So do that as well. This is obviously the crossover of it. But anything you want to push here on the way out, Mr. Brad Thomas?
Yeah. Check out NBCsports.com. We have the articles that I write for college football and NFL. And also make sure you go to Spotify. Check out Bet the Edge every Thursday morning. That's where I give out all of my college football bets.
Do that, friends. And yeah, my stuff, NBA Lindy's coming your way this evening, coming for Tuesday. Can't wait to break down some hoop. Been my best betting sport forever. And it will continue to be. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Straight, behind the scenes, doing a great job producing, as always. We'll catch you guys later. See you on Thursday.